Jared from Status Update. My app drawer app this week is called Pocket Cast. I've talked about it before on the beta test episode of Status Update, but since we didn't do video for that episode, I thought I should show it off. It's definitely become my favorite way to listen to, subscribe, and keep track of what podcasts I enjoy, which happens to be an excessive number. So I just want to walk through, there's a ton of features in this app. First of all, it's available on iOS and Android. It's $1.99 for iOS, $2.99 for Android. I don't exactly know why, but that's what you got. It's definitely worth it, I think. So this first page right here is this is your home screen. As you see, there's 5 tabs down here at the bottom. We'll go through each one. The first one, this is all the podcasts you're subscribed to, sorted nicely by their album art. You can sort it just like that. You click on one. That one doesn't have any unlistened to episodes. So you go into here, back to work. I have 5 unlistened to episodes. As you can see on the little album artwork, it says, okay, I have 5 unlistened to, and I have 5 downloaded on the thing. The one underneath it, Dvorak Horowitz Unplugged, I have 2 unlistened to, 2 that I've started listening to, and 4 that are downloaded on the device right now. So that's basically your basic podcast view. You can also go hit up here on the episodes tab. I have 140 podcasts that I haven't listened to. 123 are unplayed, 17 are unfinished, 140 are downloaded, and 2 are what you would consider recent. So we can click on each one of these, and it tells you all, it's a great way to sort which ones, maybe you want to listen to the ones that are the most recent first. That way you're on top of what's going on right now. And hopefully you don't have 140 unlistened to like I do. The second tab you go into is your tab where you look at what's now playing. There's not one playing right now, so we'll go in. Let's play NPR. I mean, God, it's just the best. So we're playing this NPR program, and here's what your podcast, when you're listening to a podcast, this is what it looks like. First of all, you have your scrubber up here. You get to, easily scrub where you are in the episode. It seems to be pretty decently fast. The stop button, you can either stop the podcast so it doesn't play anything. That way you don't just hit pause and it starts playing when you take the headphones out or something like that. Or you can set the sleep timer, which is really cool. Sometimes I do this when I'm going to sleep. In 15 minutes it'll stop playing, and then I'll be able to go to bed. Our next button is share, which you can share the podcast, the episode, or the position in the episode. You can actually email this to people, and it's really nice. So, hey, I was listening to this podcast, and I think at this point in this episode, you're really going to like what they're talking about. The next one here is a playlist. You can add episodes to playlists and make it, continually play. Oh, when I'm done with this one, it'll play the next one in my playlist. Now, this next feature over here on the top is changes the speed that you're listening to this podcast at. It goes 1, 1.2, 1.5, and 2 times the speed. This on Android is not available just as a default. You actually have to pay for, I think it's a $6 plugin called Presto that you have to pay for if you want that. But I listen to so many podcasts that I always listen to them on double speed, or at least 1.5 when I'm listening to audio. So it's something worth it. And then this last one brings up the show notes for the episode. I don't know if NPR has very good show notes. They generally don't. But it'll load it up in a new little window and put it right on top of there. Now, I just touched the album art, and this is one of my favorite things about Pocket Cast. An easy skip forward 30 seconds and skip back 10 seconds button. And even when they're not showing up, you just hit it, and it immediately skips forward 30 seconds. It's great. So that's the Now Playing tab. Next, we have the Sync Episode tab. So this, every time, you can set it to refresh, and whenever it refreshes, it'll say, okay, you have these new episodes, and they show up here first. And when they show up here, you can either download them or stream them. I have mine set up to automatically download. Next is the search section, where you can search popular podcasts, or you can go into podcast networks, and they have Twit and a bunch of podcast networks that are already populated. The internet doesn't seem to be working really well on the phone right now. So I guess that won't be loaded. But you can go categories or import a podcast with just an RSS feed. So there's tons of ways to get podcasts in here, and it's generally really good. Status Update is in this store, and it quickly appeared. And then the final is the settings tab, and this is where you have all these great settings that make Pocket Cast such an interesting app. So playback, skip forward 30 seconds or 10 seconds, you can change the amount of what that skip forward and skip back is for just those buttons. Variable playback speed, that's the Presto player. While playing audio, you can allow the screen to lock. Video player orientation, you can lock it to a certain orientation. You can make your headphones control the things. Episode updates, this is one of my favorite. Every time the app opens, it refreshes and checks for new episodes. And it automatically checks at 3 a.m. on my phone. And it automatically downloads them on Wi-Fi using the Android Download Manager instead of the app itself. The app seems to be pretty crashy on Android when you don't use the Android Download Manager. So I highly suggest using that. And you can also have it warn when you're not on Wi-Fi or add it to a playlist. Notification, episode notifications, real simple stuff. Storage says, I store them on my SD card, I store them on the internal storage. Tells you what episodes you can keep. I have it automatically set up so when I finish an episode, it deletes it. It's really great. You can refresh your podcast images and other interesting things there. And finally, export podcasts. This is great if you go through phones like I do. I keep switching back and forth. I hit export podcasts. I send an email to myself in OPML format, and then opened it on the new phone, and it automatically imported all the podcasts that I had in Pocket Cast. It's just a great, weird feature that's available. The last thing I want to show you that I forgot to show you because we were listening to audio is in video, which is really cool. And sometimes it takes a second for video and stuff like that to play. That is one of my gripes. It isn't the fastest at playback. But so we're playing an episode of What's Trending here, okay? This is awesome. Say you're watching it on the bus or something, but then you need to take a walk, and you're not going to walk down the street with your phone in front of your face. So you can hit this little button right here, and it will turn it into an audio show and start playing the audio only. Just like it's an audio podcast, but it's taking the video file. It's really great. Pocket Cast is an awesome podcast application for those that don't want to hook to the computer anymore. It's available for $1.99 in the iTunes App Store and $2.99 for Android.